celestial beings, and welcome to my channel if you are new, or welcome back to my channel if you are a subscriber. My name is Celeste Simone and I offer tarot readings just like this one, as well as other spiritual guidance videos. If you have not done so already, please hit the subscribe button down below, and while you're at it, click that notification bell so you're always notified when I post a new video every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I am really looking forward to this reading for you today. I have a pick a card reading. I have 3 piles for you because I do want to dive into detail as to who your shadow self is, what are some aspects of your shadow self, and go into the depth of just some blockages that may be happening that you may be unaware of, because oftentimes with our shadow self, it is typically something or a part of ourselves that we have not yet faced, or aspects of ourselves that we maybe have pushed away because we are either feeling guilt or shame surrounding this aspect of ourselves, or even just a part of ourselves from our childhood that we felt was wrong, or something that we should not have as a part of ourselves, so we have almost shunned it and pushed it away. Now, a shadow self is not bad and it is not evil, but it becomes a shadow when we push it away and when we deny it as being part of ourselves. And when it becomes a shadow, it begins to cause inner conflict and inner kind of turmoil within ourselves that we almost become unconscious to, and we don't even realize how it is affecting us on a daily basis, and even could be affecting you in your manifestation. Because when there is a side of yourself that you are not fully aware of, and that is part of you, but you are maybe denying or not, wanting to look at, what will happen is you will essentially have it come up in different ways, because it is a part of you. It is a part of your path and a part of your journey to really become your true authentic self, and to unify and merge all these aspects of yourself, your individual self. In that aspect of it, you are meant to merge those things together and become one with them, and not be in denial of any of them, and not push them aside. Most of the time, they're not things that you should feel sad or guilty about, but we were told maybe as children that it was an unacceptable aspect of ourselves, or that it made us weak, or that we didn't want to admit that something was affecting us, so we pushed it away and denied it until now we are unaware that it is still present within us, but it is causing us harm in other ways. The intention of this reading is to really help you receive some messages for yourself in ways that will help to maybe connect you back with your shadow self, and connect you with aspects of yourself that you feel need to be cleared and possibly aligned, and also maybe some blockages that you maybe have been holding on to, and that we can release those together. So I will intermingle some healing in here and there when needed, when I am guided to also add healing to the reading. So if that is something that you enjoy, be sure to stay tuned for each of these readings. Now, one last thing I do want to say is that this is a general reading, but it is also a pick a card reading. So it truly relies on your intuition to find the pile that has the most messages for you. Now, it could even be a single message from one of these piles that is specifically for you, that you really align with. So if you're feeling at first that maybe one of the piles, and this goes for really any pick a card reading that you find on YouTube, and I found this for myself too, is sometimes I'll pick a pile and I at first feel like, well, I don't understand the messages here. These messages don't seem like they are for me. But what you end up doing when you really listen with your intuition is you hear the message that you were needing to hear for that pile, because I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and that you must have picked that pile for a reason. Now, maybe the reason is that it's meant to teach you how to trust your intuition a little bit more, or maybe it is meant to give you one specific message, and for this reading, maybe that's all that is in that pile for you. And maybe you are also drawn to another pile, and that pile has even more messages for you, but you have to pick on the other pile first to receive that one specific message for you. And that's how these general readings are. It's really all about connecting and working together between the reader and also with your intuition when you choose the pile. So again, if the pile is not bringing you the messages that you feel are on, par with what you're experiencing, really take a second to listen, and also listen from within, listen within your intuition. And I'm not saying that the pile's messages are, everything that you have to follow, but more so that there just may be that one message within the pile that you choose, whatever reading you are listening to, that was the reason that you had to listen to that pile, or that is what your guides wanted you to hear at that moment, whatever that message is. And only you can really sense and feel that within yourself. So I can't really tell you from a general standpoint everything that this pile is going to bring to you. You know, I am definitely bringing guided messages and receiving these messages from a higher source and with the help of these cards. But again, you know, with any general reading, you guys are an active participant in these readings, which is what makes them so amazing and so exciting when you find the reading that is yours and when you receive that one message, or even sometimes it could be many messages. Some tarot readers I see, you know, they say that maybe you picked the wrong pile, and I realized, you know, I got guided message that it's not that you picked the wrong pile. It's not that your intuition is off or that you are wrong. You know, if the pile does not speak to you, not every message can be for you, especially with a general reading, because you're unique, you're special, and you're not going to be like the other, you know, so many people who have watched that same reading, whichever reading it is, you know, not just my pick a card readings, but any of them. But your guides are guiding you to click on a video, you know, they're guiding you to pick a pile. And what they're telling you is, hey, there's a message in here that you need to hear. But are all the messages going to be for you? Probably not. But that's the beauty of your own empowerment, you know, your own abilities, is that you get to be the one to select your pile, to find your messages by guidance, because there are so many readings. There's so many readings on YouTube, and there's so many types of readings. So the ones that you pick, the ones that you are drawn to, and the piles that you pick, there's something there, you know, and you have to find that gem for yourself that maybe leads to something else, or leads you to a thought, or leads you to deeper messages that really strike you. So I just wanted to share that kind of mindset with you, those messages that I kind of received when I was listening to a reading, because if you're like me and you believe that everything happens for a reason, the divine timing that is our universe, and that is why we do these pick a card readings, and why there are so many people who can resonate with them, is because you are also being guided. You know, I'm being guided with messages, and then you are being guided to your pile to receive those messages. So I hope you enjoy this reading. Let us dive into these piles so you can select the one that you are most drawn to. All right, so pile number 1, I have a Smokey Quartz. Pile number 2, we have the Labradorite stone. And pile number 3, I have a clear quartz crystal. Alright, so now is the time when you guys listen to your guidance, your inner guidance, your intuition. Which pile do you feel has a message for you, or maybe even more messages, and will bring you further to enlightening yourself on what is your shadow self? What is the side of yourself that you need to know about, or even receive guidance about moving through and moving to a higher level of awareness? And that is the intention of this reading. I'm showing you a close-up of the pile so that you can take a moment and pause the video if you need to. And once you are ready, head on down into the description box below and find the timestamps that I've posted there, and you can click on the timestamps and head right to your reading. So I am looking forward to diving into each of one of these piles. If you are ready to discover your shadow side, it could be kind of dark, it could be kind of deep, but if you're ready for that, I am too. Let us start your readings, and I will see you over there. Hello, all my beautiful celestial beings who have chosen pile number 1. I have your pile right here with the Smokey Quartz on it, and I'm super excited to find out all about your shadow self and what messages and guidance we have surrounding that aspect of yourself. So let us dive right in. I will mention briefly that I do extended readings on each one of these piles, so if you're interested in finding out more after we complete this reading, you can head on down to my description box below and click on the link and get even more information there, where I go into further detail with the tarot cards, the past, the present, and the future, as well as I dive into some more oracle cards. All right, with that said, let's jump into the tarot cards here. We have the Sun. We have Judgment. Next, we have the Two of Cups. We have the Eight of Cups. And lastly, we have Justice. Okay, so what I'm seeing for you guys, group one, right away with just the tarot cards here, is I see that there's almost like a part of yourself that is maybe stuck in a past relationship, or feeling that something that ended in your past is you're really missing it, or you're missing aspects of it, and you're almost unable to move forward because of either you feel like this person should have been there for you and you should have been able to sustain your relationship throughout your entire life. You were committed to this person, and I feel like you almost feel like there's an aspect of yourself that doesn't want to admit that you almost have this mindset of like you'll never be that happy again. I'm really sorry that it's definitely a really, for some of you, this is like a really hard thing to maybe admit to, but it's not so much that it's true, it's just more so that deep down you kind of have this inner thought or inner feeling like you'll never be as happy as you were when you were with this person, or when this person was with you. If this person has passed on, or if this person is no longer in your life in some way. This person helped you to awaken. This person helped you to grow on a very substantial level. Like, you expanded with this person, and you maybe even felt like this was a true love for some of you, as far if it was a relationship. But either way, it was a very deep connection that you had with this person. Now, I feel like you have to walk away from this person and kind of leave this behind, and this maybe caused you some deep emotion, but in some ways you wanted to just get over it. I think maybe in a lot of ways you feel like you are maybe just you just want to leave it behind. And for some of you, I'm feeling like this may be affecting your future relationships, or any relationships that you have had since this person. And you keep kind of thinking back to this person as being the one who you wish you could have been with permanently, but it did not work out the way you expected it to go. And even though you probably mentally are, it was the right thing, you're kind of like over it mentally, where you just kind of want to forget about it and move on. It was a time in your life that was important. I think it's important for you guys to hear, I'm getting, that this time in your life, which I'm seeing with the Sun and the Judgment card, was a big growing time in your life. Maybe it was the beginning of this relationship. If this was a really long-term relationship, I'm seeing you really grew together. I'm seeing for some of you, this was a really, big relationship, a long relationship. We have a lot of major arcana here. So it was a very significant time in your life. If this was a love relationship, this could also be a deep connection with a person who's no longer, either no longer having a relationship with you in some capacity. So I am seeing that ultimately this person, brought a lot of growth, brought a lot of happiness. This time in your life, to start out with, was really great. And you maybe even subconsciously wondering where it went wrong. Maybe you have ideas and you've tried to kind of talk yourself into being, completely over it and saying, like, well, it never could have worked out, and I did the right thing. And you did, you're where you are at for a reason. But that whole relationship that you have with that person, again, it could be romantic, it could be another type of relationship that you had to end, or you were separated from this person somehow. That was a very important time in your life, but that was almost like a phase in your life that was from a higher level that you actually chose. That phase in your life, and I'm seeing that with the Judgment card, and the Sun card. But the emotional ending of it was just as important for your growth. Now, you are still in kind of a phase right now where you have not kind of completed the journey of this lesson, though. So this is an important time for you to really let go and to find balance again in your life, because I'm seeing with the Justice card, maybe things are still left, there wasn't enough closure. I'm hearing the closure was not there for this relationship. I'm seeing for some of you too, this may be a karmic relationship. I kind of heard that with the way this really taught you. For some of you, this was a karmic relationship, meaning that it was a way to bring out some shadows within yourself. This person was bringing that out from you. Now, I am seeing that, it started off, the relationship was starting off very happy and actually helped you grow and expand. Maybe it was a very spiritual relationship to start out with, and it was almost like just like a huge part of your life for a long time. And then it just, coming together with this person maybe just moved away. You moved away from them, and not necessarily physically, but emotionally, I'm seeing like having to let go of this person, let go of this situation. And the love is still there. For some reason, I feel like there's still a love between you, and this is because, why? This is because I'm seeing this is because you guys there's a connection between you two at a soul level. I am sensing that this is not the first time that you guys have been in an incarnation, a lifetime together. I am hearing that this is a path that you guys have to meet together, and it's part of a higher process, a higher awareness, where you come together and you learn a lesson together. And then, in some cases you separate or move on. You have different kind of relationships. So they're kind of like in your soul group for many of you. Yeah, so I'm seeing like coming back into balance has really been a challenge for you. There's still on an emotional level aspects of this whole situation that you have not let go of yet. And I'm seeing that, like I said before, there's this belief that you'll never be as happy as you were with this person, or as happy as you were in that past. But that's actually, that the past is relative. The past is a memory. It's not the present moment. And you maybe don't want to, maybe you are thinking, you don't really believe that, but part of you maybe does believe that. So if you do feel that way, let's bring that up is really, I feel like you are just having one foot in the past, having one foot in that, could I have done something different? And the truth is that when it comes to the past, everything unfolded the way it should have happened, and the way you wanted it to happen, so that you could learn these lessons. And if they come up again, you learn them at an even higher level. But I'm feeling as though this is kind of where you're kind of stuck, is like in this place of imbalancement. I think it has to do on an emotional level, that there needs to be some emotional release of that feeling of that all is lost. And you may not let this affect you on a day-to-day basis. You may kind of approach the world with like a sunshiny attitude and, thinking positive thoughts and wanting everything to work out. But when we have a shadow part of ourselves that we're not addressing, such as that, deep down we maybe miss the past. Maybe it's not that you don't think you'll ever be happy again, but you're still missing the past. So it's almost like preventing even greater things in your future, so it's kind of happening where you have a little bit of a wall up when it comes to either a relationship or letting somebody in the same way. I also want to add in what I'm seeing with this Justice card in reverse for some of you is that you maybe are not looking to want to go back to a relationship, but for some of you, justice was just not done for that relationship. Like I said, you may have felt like it was unresolved and that you didn't receive closure, and you may actually still be very angry about this relationship, or have anger towards this person that has been unresolved. So I'm seeing with Justice card in reverse that for some of you, justice has not been served. You feel like this person, you deserve an apology for some of you, or maybe you feel like, again, you didn't get the closure that you deserved, and you really want to, you really want to go back and either talk to this person, or like you maybe even have demanded some kind of justice from them and you just never received it. So for some of you, that is still weighing heavily on you, and there's a deeper meaning to that too. And I'm seeing that this feeling that justice was not served, it's almost for some of you making you feel as though you are being walked on. And maybe this is a fear that you have, or a triggering energy that you have, where if you feel as though somebody is taking advantage of you, that, you know, you are a weak person, and that you're attaching that thought to the fact that this person did you wrong, someone who you trusted very deeply, who turned on you, or who just kind of like abandoned you, and it was very unfair. So there may be more meaning that you're tacking on to this one situation, but this is all part of releasing that, you know, accepting that what this person did does not make you any weaker, does not make you unworthy, or it does not mean that there's something lacking within you. You know, this was a decision that they made that is on them and not on you. So coming to terms with that and really recognizing how you really truly feel about justice not being done and what that really means to you. You know, dive in deep and really seek answers within for why this is bothering you so much. And you're going to find even further what about this shadow self, you know, this shadow side of yourself, what that is all about. So I'm definitely going to send you some energy right now. I think it's important, like I'm feeling it rising up into, like, from my heart chakra into my throat. This energy, I'm feeling like it's rising up. That's really how I feel emotional energy too, kind of coming up to heal itself. And it can even make you tear up sometimes if you've ever had that before. That was that energy kind of releasing finally. It's like it's a major step when it comes to healing emotional energy that's kind of trapped inside your heart chakra. I find that it just kind of like comes up and then like you either tear up or you feel it like at the back of your throat, like tightening. So we're going to send energy there to just allow this to release and to escape. And if you do want to receive this energy, just go ahead and click in the comment box below and type in 2 blue hearts. Let's make it blue just because of the throat chakra. I'm feeling that in my throat. And also I'm seeing with this 8 of Cups energy, the blue color in here. All right. So we're just going to take a deep breath. Yeah, so let's take a look at your oracle cards next, because we haven't gotten into the oracle cards. We have gentleness. Strength is gentle. True kindness has wings. Love in action endures. With gentleness, I'm definitely feeling that, you know, it's time to be maybe gentle with yourself, and gentle with the side of yourself that is still mourning a loss from this past, you know, mourning it. And by mourning it, it doesn't mean, you know, it doesn't mean that you are letting it hold you back. Sometimes, you know, you need to mourn for something for as long as you do. And if you try to force it or rush it, you know, force healing and try to get through it as quickly as possible, that's when shadows happen. You know, that's when you develop a shadow side where there's part of you that's not ready to be done with the mourning. There's part of you that really does believe that you wish you still were with this person, and you can't deny those aspects of yourself. Because what happens is it becomes like a wound, an open wound, and it festers if you're not healing it, if you're not giving it attention and care and gentleness. So really be gentle with yourself. And, you know, it doesn't mean that you're regressing in any way. It doesn't mean that you're behind in your journey. This is something, as I said, this is a relationship or a situation that you chose to experience, and it's teaching you the lesson. You know, it's teaching you how to come back into balance with yourself, with your mind and your heart, really. You know, I think there's an imbalancement in you right now, and I think it has to do with your emotions. I'm seeing with the 8 of Cups where maybe you're denying emotions within yourself and trying to kind of just, you know, cut off with these emotions, and that's where the imbalancement is happening. And as I said at the beginning of this reading, is when that kind of thing happens, it affects your manifestation. So it affects things that you are hoping to create in your life. So yeah, so healing that side of yourself is so important to your journey, and it is just part of the process. It's not anything that has to be rushed. It's not anything to be ashamed of or sad of or, you know, denying because you just want to be cured, because we're all here doing this. You know, we're all here growing and expanding, and it's kind of it's a never-ending process, really. And, you know, it's always a choice to return to the present moment and really focus on where you are at right now. And if in this present moment you are feeling sad about the past, that's okay too. You know, and you can't always just deny that and expect it to go away, because it becomes a shadow self. It gets trapped within you somehow or way, and then it builds up emotionally. All right, so let's move on from gentleness. I really do feel like this is the energy right now, is being kind to yourself and having the gentleness of the emotions, gentleness towards your emotions right now. Next we have dreamer. Your dreams have chosen you. Find fulfillment in pursuing your destiny. This is the magic of life. I wonder, I'm seeing with the Eight of Cups again, I'm wondering if you've been having dreams about this person. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm definitely feeling that for some of you, this shadow side, this shadow self is manifesting for you as dreams with this person. Now, for many of you too, I'm getting the message that if you were wondering if this person was actually almost like astral traveling with you and you guys both were having dreams about each other, that is true. I am sensing that that is something that is happening for those of you who are having actual dreams about this person. They are actually there in, you know, the spirit self. They are astral traveling or visiting you as a spirit in your dreams. So for others though, it's important, the dreamer side of you is this person who dreams of getting back to the sun, you know, of getting back to this feeling of just like almost like a natural high, you know, feeling happy, feeling just like so joyful and so full of light and happiness that you are just almost like walking on air, you know, that feeling, wanting to get back to that. But I also, as I said before, it's kind of you maybe would rather dream about what could have been, or kind of you want to focus on the dream side of things a little bit more, and maybe that's why you want to not have to feel that way anymore. You know, there's maybe feelings within you that you try to replace with manifestations, with dreams. If you are naturally a dreamer, then you probably are very good at manifesting things in your life. And you probably are dreaming some of, you know, big things that you want to manifest for yourself. But there's also a downside, is if you are always kind of dreaming about the future or dreaming about what could have been in the past, depending on, you know, what resonates with you. It's so important to recognize that in the present moment is really where the work has to happen, where you really need to be honest with yourself about not kind of the, you know, the dream side of things, but really where you are at now with your healing, you know, process. And that can all happen at once. You know, you can still be dreaming of the future, and you know, you could still be manifesting your dreams while you are healing at the same time. So it doesn't all have to happen at once before you can start dreaming and creating a new relationship for yourself, or a new circumstance that brings you, you know, this blindingly beautiful joy and happiness into your life. All right, so let's take a look at your next oracle card. We have manifestation. Wow, you know, this reading really had to do a lot with manifestations, and I mentioned a few times. So it says here, your dreams have untold energy. So wow, you guys, dreamer, you know, I feel like you are this dreamer. Like I said, you really are this dreamer, and your dreams really have this power. It says, open the door and let them live. Desire and belief are your power. So dreamer, okay? My pile one dreamers, you have the ability to manifest. You know, like I said, you're probably really good at manifestation with the way that you're able to dream big. So once you really get into alignment, once you really get into balance, this inner emotional blockage, you know, that you just kind of release. And now if you are, okay, so I'm also sensing that many of you are manifesting, you're trying to manifest the relationship. the yin to your yang, the yang to your yin, you know, the perfect relationship for yourself. I'm sensing that some of you are here wanting to manifest that and wondering what is blocking that. And for some of you, you know, if you have not had a past relationship yet, if this relationship does not apply to you as much, if you are trying to manifest this beautiful relationship, this beautiful soulmate relationship, and you feel out of balance because of that, I'm receiving that you really do need to, there's some releasing here that has to happen away from the past, you know, in order to, and if you're trying to manifest a future relationship that is going to be positive for you guys and that really is going to last, you know, you are on this path of expanding, of enlightenment, where until you learn the lessons that are needed, until you release some of this emotional sadness about the past, or maybe even just living in the future, there's things that need to be cleared about that before you're going to maybe meet this other person. I feel as though for many of you, it's very easy for you to manifest other things, but for you guys, you're finding that manifesting a relationship, as I said before, I think you kind of felt that there was some kind of shadow self holding you back. Okay, so I'm getting some other messages right now for some of you. I'm seeing as though you might be I keep hearing for some of you, your expectations might be very high for this person. They're not meeting your expectations, or you maybe are out to find their imperfections in some cases. And gentleness is really needed. Because I'm hearing that the people you have already been with, if you're feeling as though that was wrong, you know, like you didn't manifest the right person, the answer is you did manifest the right person. You've been manifesting people into your life, or maybe there's only one person, you know, one big relationship, but these people have been manifesting into your life for a very specific reason, to teach you some really good life lessons, you know, and as hard as that is to accept sometimes, it is really all part of the manifestation process. So your dreams are not going unanswered. Your wishes are not going unanswered. They are being heard, but you are releasing. You are coming to terms with a side of yourself that I'm feeling that when it comes to relationships, feeling as though there is some kind of imbalancement in you that you need to get through. This is what you feel, but may not even be true. You know, you may feel that there is an imbalancement in you that you need to fix before you can find somebody who is really truly who can really truly love you. So this may be even preventing any relationship from happening, but this is just a thought. This is not necessarily the truth. The thought itself is almost like its own barrier. The deep down feeling unworthy is almost like its own barrier. It's almost like its own shadow self. So these are kind of a combination of readings that and messages for different people that I'm receiving. Ultimately, though, I am seeing that this is kind of associating and focusing around connections and relationships with other people, with the two of cups here, people coming together and a union kind of happening, or needing to happen, or wanting to happen, or has happened. As I mentioned, it has now left you kind of in this feeling of inner turmoil, or feeling that you can't kind of move forward from it. And what I am really seeing, though, is this path that you're on. Again, like I hear it again, you're a master manifester. Like the manifestation is without a doubt, you're at a really amazing level that you're able to pretty much get into the zone of manifesting pretty easily, or pretty well for the most part, for many things in your life. But when it comes to relationships, there maybe is a blockage right now for you guys. All right, so once again, you know, this reading has healing energy within it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do my extended reading where I shuffle my tarot cards and I do a complete spread for you guys, as well as we look at these other oracle cards. So if you're interested in the extended reading, head on down to the description box below and click on the link for that. Otherwise, that is going to do it for this reading, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and I do hope you enjoyed the reading. If you wouldn't mind, comment down below, let me know if you did enjoy this reading. I would love to hear your thoughts. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and join our family of celestial beings. And while you're at it, you could hit that notification bell so you're always notified when I post a new video every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I hope you enjoyed this reading, you guys, and I love you so, so much. I hope to see you back again soon, but bye for now. Hello, all my beautiful celestial beings who have chosen pile number 2. I have your pile right here with the Labradorite stone on it. So, before I get started, I just want to mention that right after this reading, I will be doing an extended reading, and I link to all of my extended readings down in the description box below. So if you're interested in diving into even further detail with your reading and all about your shadow self, then head on down to the description box after this reading and you can click on that link and get even more information and messages just for you. All right, so let's dive into this reading and start with the tarot cards. We have the Hanged Man. Right off the bat, we got a Major Arcana card. We have the Fool, another Major Arcana card. Wow. We next have the Chariot, another major card. Next we have the Hierophant in reverse, another Major Arcana card. You guys, I did not plan this. And lastly, we have the 8 of Wands. All right, let's take a look at these cards now. Okay, you guys, I'm already getting messages, and what I am seeing is that your shadow self really wants you to know that it does not like structure. I feel as though there's this side of you that just does not like to be orderly, does not like, you know, to be part of an institution and to follow the rules. Maybe this part of yourself, maybe as a child, I'm feeling many of you were told like you were untidy or you were irresponsible. For some of you were told that like you're never going to make it in the real world because you're unorganized and you're not good. Maybe you were not good at school, or you just were not good at following the rules. Maybe that side of yourself, that rebellious side of yourself, for some of you, that side of yourself was almost pushed aside or really struggles with your life right now, or struggles with, I feel like many of you probably already know this side of yourself, but there's aspects of this that you haven't yet healed, or you haven't yet kind of come into alignment, because part of yourself is still trying to fit into society's expectations, or maybe even the expectations of your family, the traditions of your family, or the expectations of a religion in your life as well. I'm seeing this with the Hierophant here for you guys. I'm seeing that deep down your shadow self wants you to really let go and let loose, and not feel like you are always having to follow the guidelines. Maybe for some of you, I'm feeling that at heart you enjoy like cooking, but this is just one example. But for some of you, like when you cook, you don't like to follow the recipe, and it frustrates you trying to follow every single step of the recipe. But you maybe have to kind of force yourself to do that, and maybe more and more over time, and not all of you like to cook or want to cook or whatever, but that's just one example. Like for some of you, it could be even just going to work and feeling kind of constrained by the rules of society, of having to go to work at a set time every single day and just getting bored with the daily routine of things. And part of you, that shadow self within you, just hates it. You know, it's just being kind of forced to do this every single day in, day out, and it's just kind of like dying inside a little bit. There's also another side of this message that your shadow self wants you to know, and that is really that I'm seeing for some of you, your shadow self maybe trying to communicate some information to you in order for you to take some inspired action. And what maybe ends up happening is, for some of you, you kind of get trapped in that fear of either going outside of the norm and not remaining open. We have the Fool card, that you may not be remaining open to the impossible, you know, open to not knowing the path ahead, but just trusting in the process. Your shadow self wants to break free of that. There's part of you that wants to just kind of go for something, but is afraid to. And I feel with the Eight of Wands, I'm really sensing that your shadow self will receive information. Your inner intuition will, receive guidance. This side of yourself that loves freedom, that loves breaking free of kind of the norm and being spontaneous, that spontaneous side of you is really your shadow side. Because I feel that with the Eight of Wands that you may receive kind of guidance, but your shadow side gets frustrated because you maybe don't take the actions to, the follow-up steps to really make it happen with the Chariot. Now, what I am seeing is, though, I am seeing that this is an important part in your life. I'm seeing that seeing things from this other perspective is what your shadow self really wants you to see, is that maybe you've been given a certain perspective about this side of yourself, that it is wrong and it is bad and it is almost like going to negatively affect your life. You may have been told in the past that that side of yourself, the side of you that wants to be spontaneous and adventurous, is actually dangerous to you. You may have been told or led to believe that it's actually going to cause problems in your life, that you're going to, you're going to fail if you listen to that voice. But really, what that perspective is very one-sided. And instead, your shadow self really wants you to give it some time during your life, to allow it to be itself. That side of yourself that wants to, take a random trip or not follow the recipe, not follow the rules for a little bit and break free and just trust. Opening yourself up, taking on this new perspective is just going to open yourself up to the trust of the universe. And granted, you don't have to do anything crazy, but it's really this leap of faith, taking that step to make an intuitive action with the Chariot card. Because right now, your shadow side is really feeling too confined. There's a part of yourself that feels like it is trying to live up to a standard that you are not aligned with. You're not aligning with the expectations of other people, but maybe you feel like you have to limit yourself, limit your actions, so that you don't, so that your adventurous side doesn't run away with you. Which the thing about the shadow self is it causes more harm when we don't listen to it than when we allow it to be itself. It's like giving it energy does not take away your power. It actually gives you more power because you are more fully aware of every aspect of yourself and more fully aligned, so that you can actually flow with the universe and be at one with all aspects of yourself, because you're not going to, I think there's that fear, like if you give it any attention, if you give it any love or any affection, or give it what it wants, that it's going to take advantage of you and run your life. But the truth is that by denying it and not keeping it within your awareness, that's when it has more control, because you're not conscious of it. But the more conscious you are aware of this aspect of yourself, the more empowered you are as a whole being, as a whole entity, the more power you have. And you're going to start receiving messages of intuitive action from this side of yourself. With the Eight of Wands, I really see, you're going to start seeing your, aspects of your life that have been limited, or that maybe are just kind of status quo. This is going to be the difference between that and really growing something incredible, really growing something that excites you and like lights you up again and brings you this happiness and joy and this feeling of almost like being a child again, connecting with your inner child, the child that wanted to do something wild and crazy, and your family or people who were influencing you at that time maybe told you, you know, you need to cut that out. You're being too you're too much of a risk taker, and this is going to lead you, you know, to failure. And that message in your head has led you to maybe deny this side of yourself. But the truth is that's the side of yourself, that childlike energy with the Fool is a side of yourself that can actually lead you towards some amazing intuitive decisions and steps towards creating something that's actually pretty amazing. So let's take a look at your oracle cards next and see what they have to say. We have integrity. Drop the things that offend your soul. Embrace your truth. It's your life. Let no one live it for you. You guys, you know, this message could not be more clear, is that, you know, the side of yourself that you have denied and has caused you to maybe live by the rules for so long wants to be embraced. It wants to come out, and it wants to allow you to embrace your truth, to allow you to be who you truly are, and not live your life for somebody else, or not live your life to the expectations of the people who maybe tried to dim your light when you were a child, or keep you from, you know, taking the risks because maybe they were afraid. They were more fearful at that time, and they maybe imparted their fear onto you to prevent you from making them feel uncomfortable. They wanted to control that aspect of you because they maybe were fearful of it in themselves even. So that kind of just leads to more fear, and it just kind of continues that for generations to come. But for you, you have a chance to be authentic, to live up to your own personal integrity and not live up to other people's expectations. So it's really a matter of seeing it from a different perspective, seeing this aspect of yourself that for a really long time you were only seeing as something that was bad, but now being able to see the positive behind it. All right, so next we have power. Call upon the elements, focus your intentions. The greatest dragon is within you. This side of yourself, this part of yourself has a major power behind it that can really create something great for you if you unleash it almost. You maybe have been just holding this in, keeping in, you know, this amazing ability that you have, dimming your light in order to conform to who you think you should be. And your shadow self is that side of yourself that wants to come out and say, hey, you know, I want to take some risks. I want to do something different. I want to mix it up a little bit. And I want to follow my passions. I want to follow my, you know, my inner adventure. I want to take the leap of listening to my intuition and, you know, following adventure, seeking out adventure and exploring. And instead I've been kind of cooped up and it's trying to come out. But once you unleash it, it's just going to bring even more power into your life. So next we have clarity. Banish the fog of illusion. Open your eyes to the truth. Remember the perfection of who you are. Yeah, clarity, you're gaining a new perspective right now, seeing that sides of yourself that maybe for the longest time you felt were not good enough, were imperfect, were not who you should be. You know, you need to act a certain way, either based on society or based on family expectations, you know, thinking that you had to be that certain way. And now coming to find out that, hey, this is not a negative, this is a positive if I work with this, you know, if I use my knowledge and use my intuition and have them come together to create this beautiful harmony. Like now I could find clarity in what I'm supposed to be doing and how I can be happy in my life rather than feeling restricted at some level, you know, at some maybe unconscious level. You've just felt restricted this whole time. And now you're finally realizing the perfection of who you are and who you were this entire time. There's no need to deny that aspect of yourself because it's all part of the perfection. It makes up the perfection of who you are and who you have always been from the beginning. All right, you guys, wow. So I do hope that you enjoyed this reading. As I mentioned before, I'm going to be diving in deeper with some more tarot cards and a complete spread, as well as an oracle reading in the extended reading. So if you're interested in that, you can head on into the description box and click the link. Otherwise, please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Comment down below, let me know if you like this reading, your thoughts on it. I would love to know. And lastly, if you have not done so already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our family of celestial beings. And also hit that notification bell so you are always notified every time I post a new video, every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope that you received some important messages for you. I hope to see you back again soon. I love you guys so much. I can't say that enough, but bye for now. Hello, all my beautiful celestial beings who have chosen pile number 3. I have your pile right here with the clear quartz crystal on it. So let's just dive in. I do want to mention before we get started with this pile that I will be doing an extended reading as usual, and where you can find those readings is in the description box below. I link to them, and what I do is go into even further detail as to your shadow side and further messages from your shadow self that you need to know moving forward and how that all plays out. But for now, let's just focus on the cards right here and your reading. We're going to dive in deep, try to gather up all the messages I can for all of you guys. Again, this is a general reading, so keep that in mind that all the messages may not be for you, but we are going to dive in deep and get as many messages as possible with these cards. All right, let's take a look. We have 3 of Wands. We have the Ace of Swords, the 9 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, and lastly we have the 6 of Cups. So I'm almost sensing that your shadow self is telling a story with these cards. I feel that for many of you, it's almost like you have your sights set on something, or your shadow self really has these expectations, these hopes, this big dream maybe that you're going towards, or even just kind of like seeing something on the horizon, but part of you doesn't want to think about it. You know, you don't want to think about the possibilities ahead because I almost feel as though it's too painful for you to think about. I feel that there's people maybe surrounding you who you feel like maybe, I feel like I heard betrayed before, where you feel like maybe they weren't there for you the way they should have been, and there's that child side of you that didn't get the care that you needed. I'm seeing with the Ace of Swords that you have a lot of courage and bravery, and that you've kind of had to really just kind of like focus on the next thing and almost like fight your way through life in some ways with the Ace of Swords. I'm seeing that at a very early age, you maybe felt like you had to just kind of survive. And it may even be hard. It's really hard now for you, I feel like, for this side of yourself, this shadow self, to really enjoy life, to really fully celebrate, to really be happy. Because there's a child-like aspect of yourself that you're maybe denying, that you don't want to feel weakened by. There's this warrior spirit within you that has had to kind of fight to get to where you are right now. There's also, I feel like, a part of you that is not so much hopeful for the future, but that almost like your shadow self is secretly not hopeful about the future, and you don't want to kind of admit that about yourself, because I almost feel like it's when it comes to your passion, when it comes to doing something, maybe you feel like you're not good at anything, when you really, you really do have your own talents, your own skills, but there's almost just like this lonely feeling of almost like looking out on a horizon and feeling as though there's nothing really there for you. There's nothing for you to celebrate. I'm feeling that this is a child aspect of yourself. There's a child side of yourself that feels almost like it's not being heard, and you've instead had to kind of close it off in order to kind of fight to just survive, to move forward. This side of yourself is very imaginative. I feel like this side of yourself is playful. You know, there's a side of yourself that wants to come out and be silly or be fun or be goofy and be playful and kind of have a party, you know, celebrate this side of your life. Being a child, being imaginative, this kind of shadow self was formed in your past. With the Six of Cups, I'm seeing that it really wants to be cared for. It really wants to be hugged. You know, it wants to be cradled. It wants to receive affection. And instead, you kind of have to just be smart about things. You know, you felt like maybe you have to be very logical about things and kind of put aside any silly childlike, you know, needs or wants or emotions that were not being met. And because of that, you now have this shadow self that's very, I see very, you know, this child who really wants that caregiver, who is very wanting a caregiver who is very sympathetic, very attentive, but really not having that, really pushing that side of yourself away, even because you are busy trying to focus on the next thing, trying to focus on getting to the next step, planning for the future, being very, you know, analytical about what you do next. I'm seeing with the Nine of Pentacles, you know, with this Pentacles energy, there's part of you that maybe is working too hard, that is expecting too much of yourself, is expecting you to constantly just like fight through every step of your life, because almost like this mentality of no one's going to do it for you, you got to do everything yourself, and carrying that burden. Where this playful side of you, this kind of, you know, taking it easy and taking a break just is not part of your, you may be denying that aspect of yourself, you know, the shadow side of yourself that is, you know, it's wrong to party and have fun. It's wrong to do that because you're never going to make it to where you want to go. You have all these sights, but there's that side of you that, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that you let the child like nature, you know, the playful side, the side that wants to be cuddled and hugged and nurtured. It's not about letting that one take over. It's just about allowing that one to integrate into who you are and to help align all aspects of yourself so that you can feel whole again, and not denying the side of yourself that you feel is weak, or the side of yourself that you feel may be holding you back from achieving your goals in the future. Not everything has to be done with this sword-like energy. Although maybe that's your approach to things often, is the sword energy, which is very, you know, mental, very direct, very kind of forceful, and almost like one-sided, where you just kind of have an idea and you just go for it with like complete focus, which to some extent is really good. But when we see now the Ace is in reverse, the Ace of Swords is in reverse, you know, maybe this is too much analytical thought process. Maybe this is not using your heart enough or using your intuition. Maybe this is also being too kind of caught up in your mental thought process and not kind of listening to your child's shadow self. Your shadow self wants you to hear, you know, what it's not being given and why it's being ignored, and what is being ignored, and how that is affecting you moving forward. How it can be restricting you and preventing you actually from reaching your goals in the future, because you're trying to work against an aspect of yourself that is very important, that you came here in this lifetime to experience. So when you deny that side of yourself, you're actually creating almost like a weight, you know, that you're trying to drag along with you, this weight, because you're not allowing it to be part of yourself. So therefore you're pushing it away, and it's just kind of weighing you down. So yeah, with the Ace of Swords, releasing having to know all aspects of things, releasing maybe even judgment on yourself, being too hard on yourself or hard on others, and focusing so much on the work, you know, on the physical side of things, and not healing the emotional side of things, not healing this cups energy, which is really coming through as a side of yourself that you are denying, the shadow self. So, all right, let's take a look at your oracle cards next. We have mercy. Let compassion fill your world. Offer kindness to all living things. What you give, you also receive. So this child, I'm sensing this child wants to be forgiving to others. It wants to be understanding to others, but you've built up this wall almost because maybe as a child you yourself are not given this mercy. So you've built up a wall that maybe blocks you from connecting with others in a kind and compassionate way, because you feel like they're judging you, so you have to judge them back in order to protect yourself. So I'm seeing that in some aspects, because I'm seeing with the swords, you know, judgment instead of compassion, or trying to just be overly logical and analytical versus compassionate, and also, you know, compassionate for yourself, so that you too can receive love from others in a kind and caring way. So that is really what I'm seeing with mercy. Have mercy on yourself and others. And usually if you are not offering compassion to others, or feeling blocked to that compassion from others, it's usually because we are blocked from giving it to ourselves, because we are afraid of that weakness, of wanting that, of needing that, you know, trying to harden ourselves so we think we don't need that from others, but yet having those connections that and having that compassion for others and receiving it is part of being human, you know. All right, so next we have discernment. See the truth of the situation. Use common sense and don't be fooled. Pay attention, your intuition knows. Now, it's kind of funny and interesting that it does say use common sense, because I feel as though discernment is really kind of discerning the information, the truth from the falsehoods. But I'm seeing that it also says your intuition knows, and that is what it really ends with, is that maybe you are using discernment, but not in the way that is actually for your highest good. Maybe you're being so overly discerning with your mind that you are missing what your intuition knows best, which is really what your shadow self is coming at you with this Six of Cups, and this Cups energy is this intuition that is kind of being ignored for the sake of logic. So there's two sides to this discernment card, you know, being too discerning and judgmental, but also the discernment that comes from a place of intuitive knowing, intuitive insights that's coming from your higher self, and that can actually release a lot of effort and energy that you were maybe putting into decision making and planning for, with the Three of Wands, the planning aspect of it, you know, releasing that and allowing intuition to guide you is so much less effort. It's like going with the flow of the universe as opposed to fighting an uphill battle, you know, which this Swords in Reverse card is maybe hinting at for some of you. So lastly, we have humor. Laugh at yourself, lighten your heart, let nothing steal your happiness. It may be a while since you've had that playfulness, as I mentioned earlier, which I'm also seeing with the Three of Cups card here, is that playful, you know, celebratory, happy, joyous, you know, energy coming from Three of Cups, and says laugh at yourself. And what I'm seeing on this card especially is the child on this card, and the kitten, you know, representing a very youthful, childlike nature, where you laugh at things rather than feeling like every single step you make has to be a very specific way in order for you to be successful, and being very rigid on those decisions that you are making in order to reach a future. And you may be very much focused on the future, and that's another thing, is bringing yourself back to the present, but also addressing some things from the past, I think, that are still affecting you from your childhood, your shadow self that is maybe that child self that is getting kind of overlooked by your current thought process, that really wants to reach your goals now and is not allowing yourself to rest or even just to be playful, you know, having humor with the whole thing and enjoying the present moment rather than being caught up in the future and not being able to enjoy life now and laugh at life now because you're so focused on making it to that end goal, and losing track of time, really. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope this information was helpful to you. If you would like to hear even more messages, I'm going to go into further detail with the tarot cards and kind of lay out a plan moving forward for the future. We'll also take a look at these last few oracle cards as well. If you did enjoy this reading, please give it a big thumbs up and also comment down below. Let me know if you did enjoy this reading. I would love to hear that. With this, I'm really sensing that I'm actually getting guidance that we're going to end with some healing energy for this reading. So what I'm going to do, I'm really focusing on this childlike energy. I'm actually feeling it really in the solar plexus. Yeah, I'm really feeling it in your gut almost. You may have some stomach issues. I'm really feeling that the blockage is in there, maybe in the confidence, maybe feeling almost like controlled as a child and lacking confidence in yourself to make the right decision. So you feel very much that you can't relax on your decision making because you have to be very rigid and very disciplined with your decisions. So we're going to heal that for some of you. That is the healing that is going either way. We're sending healing to clear that so that you can reconnect, so that you can actually connect with your child self, heal and nurture your child self. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. It's the nurturing that is needed for that side of yourself, or your shadow self. All right, you guys, if you do want to accept this healing energy, then you can simply comment down below. Definitely post 2 yellow hearts for your solar plexus to be healed. That is what I'm feeling for many of you. Either way, all right, you guys, thank you so much for accepting this healing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our family of celestial beings, and also hit the notification bell so you are always notified every time I post a new video, every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. I hope to see you guys back again soon, but bye for now.